Hey guys, Violet 4K here. So today I'm going to be making a video about different PC builds you can do for either yourself or for loved ones for this holiday season. If you've been wanting to build a PC for a while, this is a great list. 3 different types of builds, 3 different price points that you can use to build your own PC or buy parts for those who want to build their own PC. These are, again, 3 different price points, and I'm going to be upfront with you. Some of these parts are going to be extremely tough to get just because of the current climate. GPUs are very hard to get. It's been like this for the last year and a half. Since the GPUs launched last year in 2020. So hopefully, if you guys are able to get these parts, consider yourselves lucky, because a lot of people have been trying and a lot of people have had no luck. So I'm going to go through, again, 3 different price points: $1,000, around $1,000, and then around $2,000, and then also around $4,000, I believe the budget was. It's basically I have unlimited budget. I can pay whatever I want. It doesn't really matter to me. If you've never used PC Part Picker before, make sure you check it out. It's a very useful site if you're trying to build your first ever PC or just trying to put together a parts list. And yeah, so again, these parts are going to be, some of them are going to be tough to get, but just bear with me. So let's jump right into it. Okay guys, so this is the first build that we're going to go over. So the first build is going to include a Ryzen 5600X. Now this processor is an amazing processor. The 12th gen just came out and it does beat this processor in some regards, I believe. But I still think this is a solid price to go for in a processor. It says $299, but I believe you can actually get it cheaper at places like Micro Center. And I know it's been on sale on Amazon, so I would definitely go ahead and look for this and get this processor. It's a great processor, especially if you're going to be gaming at 1080p. Processor's king, and this is just one of the best processors you can get at this time. I did pair that with a Gigabyte B550M SH3 motherboard. This is a micro ATX motherboard, so you'll be able to save some space, and it's just a solid motherboard. I paired this with the Crucial Ballistic 16 gigabyte DDR4 3600 CL16 kit. It's a great kit. It doesn't have any flashy RGB, but I think for the price, I think going for 36 megahertz is ideal for a Ryzen 5 5600X. So, I would just definitely check this RAM out if you could. And then the next one is going to be, so for the storage, so we actually changed it up here, and I went with the M.2 because I think an M.2 is just super solid. You can save some money and knock this down by $30 by getting a 2.5 SSD. I would just say, if you want to get M.2, I think M.2s are worth it, especially, they're becoming pretty affordable for the most part. So I definitely would think about getting an 1 terabyte M.2 drive. And I just put this Western Digital Blue in here. It's a pretty solid drive. Get it. And then, so I also put in here a 2 terabyte hard drive just so you can store games. So the M.2 would be for your OS, and then the hard drive would be for any kind of games. And then I put in here a RTX 3060 Ti because it's just such a solid card. It beats out the 6600 XT for a similar price point. So, that would be around $400. And, it's just a solid build or just solid graphics card. So I would definitely recommend it if you are looking to game at 1080p. This is a really good card for that. And then I did just put in here a Deepcool Matrix 40 Micro ATX. I've never actually built in this case. I believe I have seen it before. It looks familiar to me, but it looks like it has decent airflow. I'm not sure how easy it is to build in, but yeah, you may be able to build in it and be pretty nice. So, and then the last thing is the power supply. I just put in your 650 watt power supply, 80 plus gold, just because of efficiency rating. And then that brings a total to $1,129. You could probably get this down a little bit, change out some of these parts, but for $1,100, I think this is a very solid build. All right, guys, for the next one, we're going to have another AMD build. Now, heads up, all these builds are going to be AMD just because I think the price to performance is really good with these chips. So, I would say go 12th gen, but the problem is if you want to pair with DDR5 memory, you're going to have a tough time getting that because it's just as hard as it is as getting a GPU right now. So that's why I'm listing all mine as AMD CPUs, because I think they're just worth it to go with. So it's a little more flashy. This is going to be, I am calling this a 1440p build because I think this is, a good build to go with if you're going to be playing at 1440p and you have a little bigger of a budget. So again, we're going to start with the 5600X. I believe you can actually get this for $300 at Micro Center. So if you're near a Micro Center, 100% recommend going to it and picking one of these up. You can also get a pair usually with a motherboard and save $20. So highly recommend it. And then I also put this with the Lian Li Gilad AIO 360 rad. This actually is a pretty good rad, and I don't think this price is correct. I think it's a lot cheaper than that. I think it's around $150. I could be wrong though. I just put in here the G.Skill Trident Z Neo 16-git 3600 CL16. This is actually the exact same kit I use in my PC build, and it's a workhorse. It's really good. It's just really solid RAM. Yeah, it's just gonna be really nice. 16 gigs, you know, it's pretty much all you need right now if you're even in this, for most part, for gaming. And then I also put in here another M.2, and then also but this one's a little better, M.2, a little faster. It's around 120. I believe you can actually find this cheaper as well. I could be wrong, but this actually I think is a decent price for it. And then I also put in here another 2 terabyte hard drive just for storing games. You know, the RTX 3080 is a great card. It just, you know, it works at 1440p, it kills it. So highly recommend this card. I actually have the 3080 Ti variant of this card, and I love it absolutely to death. And then I put in here the Lian Li 11 Dynamic Mid Tower ATX. This is the mini, so it's actually a little smaller, but you can fit an ATX motherboard in here. And I think I skipped over it, but I put in here the MSI X570 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. The B450 Tomahawk was known to be really nice, so I thought that the X570 variant would be pretty good too. And that's around $250. You may be able to get that cheaper also. And then for the last thing we got here is the Cooler Master 5 SFX Gold 850 watt power supply. Now you have to get an SFX power supply. Now that's just a smaller form factor, this case, in order for it to fit. That does not fit a regular size power supply. And that price is actually going to be around $2,200. You can probably get around there. I imagine $2,000 to $2,300 is probably what you're looking at for this range. Okay guys, and so now let's jump into the last one. This is going to be what I call the rich boy build. This is basically for anyone who can afford to spend a ton of money on their PC. So we're going to start here with the 5950X. This is just an amazing processor. It's great for not only gaming, but for also productivity. You know, any kind of rendering they have to do that includes a lot of CPU intensive things, 3D modeling, all that is a great CPU for it. It's just such a good workhorse. 16 core CPU, just it'll kill it. It's one of the best CPUs you can get. And then we're also going to have the Lian Li Galad as well. Again, I think this price is a little higher than what it actually is. You can get it for cheaper, I'm pretty sure, at Micro Center or Newegg, any of those retailers. And then I put on here the Asus ROG Crosshair 8 Hero Wi-Fi. It's just a great motherboard. It has so many different features. It's great for overclocking. So if you want to overclock your 5950X, this would be a good motherboard to do it with. And then I put in here the same memory as before, but I actually put it as 32 gigs because, you know, if you are going to use this for more than just gaming, you definitely want to go with more than just 16 gigs. Even you probably want to go with more than 32 if you're doing any kind of heavy loads in terms of you know, video editing and high resolutions, or just anything that, you know, you need a lot of rendering for. This, you know, you may want to go a little more than that, but for 32 gigs, it's like a really good spot. I think once you get to 32 gigs, you start seeing diminishing returns in terms of your RAM. So this is, if you have the budget, might as well just go 32 gigs in my opinion. You know, it's perfect for if you're just going to be a baller and spend a lot of money. In here, I also put 2 980 Pros M.2s because why not? Because you're a rich boy. One's 1 terabyte and one is a 2 terabyte. So I mean, if you're a rich boy and you can afford this, perfect for you. And then in here I also put a 3090, an ROG Strix 3090. This is probably arguably one of the best 3090s out there. The price on this has gone up quite a bit. It's $2,300, but it is a great card. It's probably one of the best cards you can get. Just a beautiful looking card as well. I think it's one of the best looking 3090s or the RTX series at all. Just looks super nice. And then I put here, I could have gone with a Lian Li PCO 11 Dynamic, but I actually have been seeing this case, the Corsair 5000D Airflow, all over, and I actually really like the way it builds. I actually kind of wouldn't mind going it, but I think when I build my next PC, I'm going to go a smaller form factor. But yeah, the Corsair 5000D is just, you know, it's a very nice looking case. You can put a ton of fans in there to keep your components cool, and yeah, it's just a great case. And then the last thing is the Seasonic Focus Plus 80 plus 1000 watt. I put 1000 in here because, you know, you're running some big boy parts. I think you just want a lot of headroom, because these graphics cards can pull a lot of power, especially the 3090s. They can pull a ton of wattage. It's just, you want to be careful because some of these cards are pulling 450 watts worth of power draw alone, and you know, you already have a couple, you know, 150 or so watts coming from your CPU, and then all your other parts have to fight over the rest. So I definitely would recommend, if you're going to get a 3090, 1000 watt would probably be nice. You could get away with an 850 watt. Seasonic Focus is known as one of the best power supplies you can get. So yeah, so this price total will be around $4,600. which is probably pretty fair. You can change some of these parts out to be a little cheaper if you wanted to, or if you wanted to, you could be even more baller and spend it on more things. You get more RGB. So yeah, so I'm not going to touch on this video, but if you wanted something like custom cables, you can go to Cable Mods. Also, you can go to InSource. That's where I got my cables. I can link them down in the description below if you want to get custom cables even for your current PC. I think InSource is probably one of the best cables you can get out there, and just looks awesome. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and make sure if you do like the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in another one. Bye.